published, 2052 EDT, the 30th of April 2018, updated, 2136 EDT, the 30th of April 2018. The country was smothered with torrential rain, ferocious winds and plunging temperatures yesterday, but the last bout of winter weather is gone as forecasters say. A dramatic improvement is expected as the week progresses. Temperatures are expected to rise as high as 80 F, 26 C, by Bank Holiday Monday, making large parts of Britain warmer than Spain's Costa del Sol, Mallorca, and Ibiza. The weather will calm today and tomorrow with temperatures expected to rise during the week. Richard Martin Barton, meteorologist at Meteor Group, said, "Once we get to Sunday in particular, I think we'll get to 20 or 21 C, 70 F. In the south, about 5 degrees above average. I think it will get progressively warmer and it will be dry, with high pressure dominating." Forecasters Ventusky predicted even more summery temperatures nudging 80 F. What a change! The temperature is set to rise dramatically. Left shows Monday the 30th of April at 1 p.m. Right shows 1 week later, Bank Holiday Monday at 4 p.m. with the orange colors showing temperatures in the 70s Fahrenheit, up from greens in the 40s yesterday. In some areas a month's worth of rain fell in 24 hours, leaving roads blocked by floods and fallen trees. Kent's coast beach huts were battered and swept away by the waves. Cricketers in the Essex v Hampshire fixture took to the pitch wearing woolly hats, while tourists punting on the River Cam in Cambridge had to wrap up in rugs. Highs of just 5.5 C, 42 F, in Frittenden, Kent, and 8 C, 46 F, in Norwich, were recorded. But the days of wrapping up warm are coming to an end as temperatures are set to rise by more than 15 C by the bank holiday weekend. Scroll down for video. A reflection of sun rays on the tail of Philippine airline Boeing 777, flight PAL 720 from Manila to London Heathrow. Flying over North London during a golden sunset. Chimney pots and television aerials are silhouetted against a golden sunset in London tonight after a day of wet and windy weather. A woman walks through the Taihaku cherry tree orchard at the Annick Garden in Annick, Northumberland last week. Just over a week ago, Britain enjoyed a heat wave with a top temperature of 29.1 C, 84.3 F, recorded in St James's Park, London, on April 19, making it the hottest April day since 1949. In total, 3 inches of rain fell in 24 hours in the wettest areas on Sunday, 50% more than the April average. Worst hit was the east of the country, especially the southeast. The change comes after a man died when he was washed off a harbour wall in Ramsgate in Kent as 60 miles per hour winds and heavy rain battered parts of Britain. Kent police said they were called to the scene in the Royal Harbour, Ramsgate, at around 11:30 a.m. yesterday morning to reports of 3 people in the water. Though all 3 were recovered, 1 was later pronounced dead. The other 2 were taken to hospital for treatment. A spokeswoman for the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency said, "It is believed that all 3 people were washed off the pier by a large wave." Kent police added, "The death is not being treated as suspicious. Inquiries are ongoing to identify next of kin." A number of beach huts in Kent have been smashed or washed away as the stormy weather battered the coast. Many of these small huts cost £1,000 to buy and £400 a year to rent the space along the beach there. Dead man was believed to have been washed off the pier in Ramsgate, Kent, by a giant wave. 2 of his friends were pulled from the harbour water. Last night they were recovering in hospital as police tried to contact the family of the dead man. In separate tragedy, a 95-year-old woman was left gravely injured after she was knocked to the pavement by a wall of water caused by cars driving through a puddle. Hilda Moore of Sleaford, Lincolnshire, struck her head as he fell on Friday and was left with a brain hemorrhage. Last night her family said she had been moved to a quiet room in hospital to spend her final hours. They accused drivers of continuing to go through the puddle after Mrs. Moore had fallen. Cars drive along a flooded street near the Thames after the river burst its banks following heavy rain in London and across the southeast. Coast Guards, RNLI lifeboats, Paramedics and police were called to Ramsgate in Kent today after 3 people fell into the sea. A man was later said to have died at the coast. A beach hut is washed away by the menacing waves in Kent earlier today as the country faces heavy rains and strong winds. Trees crashed down onto roads in London and Kent while cars were photographed driving through 2 feet of water. Trains were cancelled as engineers struggled to reopen lines hit by flooding and fallen trees. Fallen trees blocked roads in Kent, East Anglia and parts of London, and rising floodwater saw some have to be plucked from their vehicles by emergency services. Waves crashed dramatically over the seawall at Tynemouth, Northumberland, as the country is battered by spring winds and rains. A view of the harbour in Ramsgate, Kent, following the death of a man after he was swept off the harbour wall during bad weather. A huge wave crashes against Seaham Lighthouse in County Durham this afternoon as heavy rains and powerful winds batter the country. Elsewhere, a family of 2 adults and a baby had to be rescued by Kent Fire and Rescue Service after their car became stuck in floodwater on Stickfast Lane, Sutton Valence. Crews also helped 2 drivers from separate cars which had broken down in knee-high floodwater in Minnis Lane, Dover, moving the vehicles to safety. They also removed a fallen tree which was blocking the road. Met Office meteorologist Alex Burkell said by 5 p.m. on Monday the largest recorded amount of rainfall in a 24-hour period was in Lenham, Kent, with a current total of 57.6 mm, 2.2 inches, while Canterbury in Kent saw 45.9 mm, 1.8 inches, and 41.3 mm, 1.6 inches, fell in Faversham. People shelter under umbrellas as they pass a view of St Paul's Cathedral during wet weather in London yesterday. A BMW is submerged in the floodwaters of the Thames after heavy rain and winds battered parts of the country, including the southeast of England. Beach huts in Westgate have been washed away or damaged by the powerful winds, blowing waves onto the Kent coast. Just to put that into some context, Kent's average April monthly rainfall is 49 mm, 1.9 inches, so it is fair to say it has seen over a month's worth of rain in a day, he said. Mr. Burkell said the rain cleared Kent by 10 p.m. with downpours affecting East Anglia until about 2 a.m. as rainfall blighted the south. 54 miles per hour gusts of wind were also recorded in Langdon Bay in Kent, with 48 miles per hour also seen in Donnanook in Lincolnshire. Mr. Burkell said. The rain has affected a good chunk of the southeast, East Anglia. London has been on the edge of it, and down to Hampshire, he said. The rest of the UK, the bulk of the UK, has had a pretty decent day. The number 137 bus is at a standstill behind a fallen tree on a road in Streatham, South London, following high winds today. A tree that fell onto the wall of Pitt's Hanger Manor in Ealing, West London, as parts of England face strong winds today. A Clem flight from Amsterdam struggles to land in strong crosswinds this morning at Leeds Bradford Airport. A fallen tree at Betchworth in the Mole Valley today as parts of Britain face wind gust speeds of up to 60 miles per hour. Pedestrians make their way over Westminster Bridge in London, taking cover under umbrellas. Yesterday morning a woman struggles to hold onto her umbrellas as she walks over Westminster Bridge in the heavy rain. Yesterday morning a motorist drives his Toyota through floodwater at Buttsbury in Billericay, Essex, yesterday as some areas were hit by rain. Social media users took to Twitter to complain about their #Monday Blues amid the wet and windy conditions in Britain today. The position of the jet stream today, left, is bringing wintry conditions to Britain, although its position will move up later in the week, right, as more settled and warmer weather arrives ahead of the bank holiday weekend. A kite surfer braves the rough seas in Tynemouth, Northumberland, as some areas of Britain battle the severe conditions. Pictures posted online showed fallen trees blocking roads in London, with tree surgeons disposing of one which had crashed through a wall in Ealing. Elsewhere, a man was trapped when a tree fell onto his car in Herne Bay, Kent. Firefighters had to cut the roof off the vehicle before the man was seen by medical staff. Cricketers in the Essex v Hampshire fixture even took to the pitch wearing woolly hats in an attempt to repel the unseasonable cold. Temperatures will climb through the week, with highs of 14°C tomorrow and on Wednesday, with the prospect of a sunny bank holiday weekend. Met Office forecaster Greg Dewhurst said, "It will be a wet start to the week, leading to a very difficult morning commute in the southeast. We could see localized flooding across this area, with a chance of wet sleet and snow over the high ground as well." Early risers were treated to a dramatic sky on the Northumberland coast this morning over Bamborough Castle on Monday. These stunning photographs show how the first full moon of northern spring lit up Britain's skies last night. The phenomenon, known as the pink moon, earns its name from the flowering of the brightly colored herb moss pink, which typically coincides with its arrival in the northern hemisphere. The April full moon lines up with the blooming of one of spring's earliest flowering plants. Wild ground phlox, or moss pink '. The pink moon, which is also known as the grass moon and the egg moon, was given its moniker by Native Americans, who provided a name for each full moon to help them keep track of time. Native Americans have a name for the full moon of every month in the calendar, including wolf moon for January, snow moon for February and worm moon for March. Then flower moon in May. Strawberry moon is for June, buck moon is for July and sturgeon moon is for August. In September, there is a harvest moon, hunter's moon is in October. Beaver moon is in November and cold moon is in December. A couple watched the pink moon rise beside Hart's Head Pike in Tameside, Greater Manchester. Yesterday evening images. The tower at Hart's Head Pike was rebuilt in 1863 to commemorate the marriage of Edward VII and Alexandra of Denmark. The full moon rises behind the bronze sculpture of an Arctic tern on their seafront at North Berwick in East Lothian. Yesterday the full moon, known as a pink moon in the month of April, is pictured rising on the coast of East Lothian. Last night a cloud looking like a map of Britain was spotted hovering in the skies over the weekend. Amanda Dark snapped a photo of the unusual formation when she was driving in Devon on Saturday evening at 7 p.m. Ms. Dark was so thrilled that she jumped out of her car while travelling between the villages of Diptford and Morley. A cloud looking like a map of Britain was spotted hovering in the skies over the weekend. The 58-year-old said, "The cloud was a perfect shape of the UK and I knew I had to act quickly before it dispersed. I jumped out of the car and took a couple of pictures. My mum was driving us and I saw it in the sky. I just said quickly stop the car as I wanted to take a picture of it. I was so thrilled by it. I just looked up and it presented itself. I couldn't believe it. I just knew if I didn't get it then I would never see anything like that again. It was lucky I was a passenger and able to spot it." Ms. Dark said she was so gobsmacked at the sight she forced her mother to pull the car over. Amanda Dark snapped a photo of the unusual formation when she was driving in Devon.